Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of HFoG's Rides. Every now and then you just stumble across a little bit of highway that you never knew existed, and suddenly you're in a good place, you know? So this is just one of those such rides where I just kind of stumbled across a little stretch of highway by accident. My wife and I were on our way down to Newport Beach in Oregon. She was going to run the Newport Marathon, and along the way our Garmin routed us through this lovely little highway just to the west of Portland called the Hillsborough Highway. So we picked up our ride just south of Shoals, Oregon. So Shoals is an unincorporated community in Washington County, Oregon, and it's located along the southern shore of the Tualatin River. And we're going to take Highway 219 south from here as it goes through the wine country. We picked it up just starting at the Mountainside Cemetery. We're going by the Mountainside Lavender Farm right now, and we're heading up past the Raptor Ridge Winery. So this was just a lovely ride. You couldn't have asked for a better day. We've got clear blue skies, just lovely. My wife is a marathon runner. She runs a couple of big races each year. This time she was going to run the Newport Marathon with a friend of hers. She's also a personal trainer, and this friend of ours was using her to get ready to run her first marathon, and so we were on our way down to Newport Beach to run the Newport Marathon. We had thought about taking the car, but the weather was just so lovely, and my son needed to use the car for something that weekend, if I remember correctly, so instead we decided to just do something different and take the bike down. So she's sitting on the back of the bike, which means since she's riding pillion, I kind of had to go a little bit easy around some of these corners. But of course I don't mind, it's always a good time having her ride along. We set the Garmin to take us down to Newport and allowed it to kind of just choose its own way down over some of the twisty roads, and it found this little highway for us. I'd never been on this highway before, but sometimes when you're doing a motorcycle ride, it's good to just let yourself just kind of get out there, kind of go somewhere where you haven't been before, and just let the road take you where it will. Every now and then you discover something really, really nice, and this ride was just gorgeous. Some of these hills are just really, really pretty. You got some nice gentle turns, and you'll see here in a little bit as we start to climb this bluff, you get a really lovely view out over the Willamette Valley and out towards Portland. We're looking out to the east here, and I think we might even be able to get some glimpses of Mount Hood, although I'm not sure if that came through on the video, but it's off to our left here. Now, just before we climbed this bluff, you might have noticed a sign that said that there was a turnoff to a place called House of Whispering Firs. Now, I went and looked that place up, and you couldn't find a more quintessential Portland-style business than this place. If you look up on the website, it tells you this place specializes in everlasting flowers and friendship. According to their website, they offer display gardens and gift shop featuring floral, essential oils, books, plants, garden accessories, mosaic and custom tiles, and much, much more. So I just got a big chuckle out of that. It is so hippie Portland. I love it. So it's an interesting area. You've got the lovely wineries, you've got lovely trees, and you got a lot of very colorful people that just really have some interesting ideas about what life's all about. And I don't say that mockingly at all, but because I think it's great. I think it's lovely. I grew up in the California Bay Area, and a lot of the places where I grew up, I was surrounded by the hippie culture, and while I do have to admit I find a lot of it kind of goofy and a little bit out there for me, I do have a bit of a sweet spot for that. It's kind of fun. So anyway, we climbed this ridge here, and as you can tell, we're surrounded by all these just gorgeous, gorgeous trees. And as we ride along here, we're just kind of darting in and out of the shadows. It opens up to these lovely views out over these little farms and these little meadows. A lot of ranch country here, and some really nice twisty roads back in here. Now here's where the road gets a little more interesting. We come down into these trees and we're heading around these mountain turns. It gets a little bit twisty and a little bit fun. As we come through the twisties here, in a little bit we're going to come across a road that says Bald Peak Road. And I wish I had known about that place when I took this ride, because apparently if you go out Bald Peak Road, you get to this lovely little overlook that overlooks a lot of the Willamette Valley. It's a very, very pretty place. It's actually a state park. It's called the Bald Peak State Scenic Viewpoint, and apparently it offers some lovely views over the Willamette Valley and over to the Cascade Range off to the east. So let's just go ahead and enjoy the ride for a little bit, and just enjoy this lovely little twisty scenic road. We'll talk again in just a minute. And coming up here on the right is that turn off to the Bald Peak State Scenic Viewpoint that I was talking about earlier. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and admit that I kind of wish I hadn't had the wife along for this little stretch of highway, because having a pillion on the back meant I wasn't able to really wind it out through these corners. Oh man, it's just such a pretty twisty road. But unfortunately it's kind of winding down here. We're going to have a little bit more of these twisties, and then eventually it's going to dump us out in Newberg, Oregon. Newberg, Oregon is one of the most populous cities in Yamhill County. I think it's the second most populous city in the county, and that's largely because it's a college town. It's home to George Fox University. This place is in the middle of traditional, classic, out west Oregon country. When you hear about the pioneers crossing into the Oregon Territory, this is what they were hoping to find. This is where many of them settled right here, and that's why Portland became what it is. They had lovely trees that they could log, they had farm country, they had plenty of places that they could ranch. Yeah, it was a great place to be. This place looked like heaven to those early pioneers, particularly after crossing the western desert. So this place was settled by a guy named Ewing Young. He came to Portland in 1834, settled on the west bank of the Willamette River, and his home is believed to be the first house built by American Europeans on this side of the river. Eventually, this became a Quaker community, and that turned into the Friends Pacific Academy, which was later renamed Pacific College in 1891, and finally in 1949 it was renamed to George Fox University. It's supposedly a pretty good school. One of the more famous people to live in this area was Herbert Hoover. He moved to this city in 1885 to live with his uncle and aunt after the death of his parents, and he was one of the first students to attend Pacific Academy, which apparently was run by his uncle. And apparently there's a museum around here made from his old home. Well, anyway, our ride is coming to an end now. As we roll into Newburgh. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the ride. I know I had a great time driving this one. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, and we'll see you next time on Fog's Rides.